Most perfumes, when released, follow trends, but there are select few that rewrite the rules. Today, we're going to be looking at fragrances that changed everything within the industry. The icons, the disruptors, the rising stars that are shaping the future of perfumery. This video is about Trailblazer perfumes that changed the industry forever. I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey through time. Let's go back somewhat 100 years ago to the release of the iconic fragrance Chanel No. 5, which was released in 1921. This fragrance is an icon and a trailblazer because it was the first abstract aldehyde-heavy perfume that made fragrance a form of fashion. Before this, chemical components such as aldehydes weren't really used in perfumery, and it wasn't really like a main note that was focused upon. Chanel No. 5, when formulated, brought this to the forefront. It was also one of the first perfumes that didn't really focus on one particular note, which a lot of perfumes do. It brought in several different components to make the beautiful fragrance that we love today. Now, we're going to take a huge jump, fast forward 70 or so years, and we are now in the year 1992, which was the release of the icon legacy status fragrance Angel. The reason why Angel by Thierry Mugler was such a trailblazer is because it introduced a new entire category of fragrances. And when I'm talking about category, I'm talking about your woods, your chypres, your florals. Angel was a category of its own, and it created the really popular category that we love today, gourmands. Angel introduced edible notes such as chocolate, caramel, cotton candy, praline, layered with some other notes and red fruits. This was not really done before. Perfumers were making perfumes. They tend to stick to notes that came within nature that traditionally smelled good. This was just legendary status. It smelled delicious. This is not something that had been done before. It didn't just smell sweet or floral. It smelled yummy, like an ice cream, like a dessert. This genre gourmand was now created and is something that is ever so popular and emulated today. This also led to other famous gourmands being created after, such as Black Opium, Prada Candy, and so on. Now we fast forward another 20 years or so, and this is the year of 2014. Now, what iconic trailblazer perfume was released in the year of 2014? That is YSL's Black Opium. Now, Black Opium was released in 2014, but this wasn't the first one. The first Black Opium, which was called just Opium, was released in the year 1977. This was a traditional scent, which Black Opium was a revisioned modern scent, tailored to modern audiences and preferences. The reason why this perfume is so iconic and has trailblazer legend status is because it mainstreamed gourmand notes, a particular gourmand, which is coffee. Coffee had never really been used in fragrances before then, and it made it so popular. It was also one of the first fragrances to combine both dark and sweet in the same fragrance. This hadn't really been done before. I noticed this a lot with our perfumes now, but I believe before Black Opium, this is something that was not really focused upon by perfumers. It actually received cult status within the mid-2010s, which was just before the onset of social media. So for Black Opium to achieve such status within a time frame shows how iconic of status that perfume was. And today, it is so iconic that YSL have formulated several different versions of the perfume, some being released as recently as last year with Opium Over Red, which is their cherry version of the original. The scent also leaned into YSL's fashion heritage because it focused on campaigns featuring fashion icons such as Zoe Kravitz to bring the fashion and fragrance community together as one. The next Trailblazer fragrance released in the year 2010 is none other than the men's iconic fragrance, Aventus by Creed. So this scent is so iconic that several different clones have been formulated since its release. And it's a viral masculine scent that helped to bridge niche and mainstream together, which is something that is a new phenomenon due to the onset of certain popular fragrances formulated by niche houses. Aventus was iconic because it was one of the first fragrances to combine bold smokiness with fruitiness to formulate the ultimate scent for masculine. Traditionally, masculine scents were kind of like aquamarine or citrusy. This took it to another level, incorporating fruity notes such as pineapple and blackcurrant, which had never really been done before for men's fragrances. It was different from your traditional aftershave. Aventus was so iconic that several different colognes were formulated off of the Aventus DNA. Some people even would go as far as saying Hasivat by Nishane is an Aventus clone. So that just shows Aventus's impact. Aventus was one of the fragrances that made niche mainstream for men, because men were normally getting their fragrances from mass market produced fragrance houses that are readily available. This helped to bring the masculine market towards the niche market, which wasn't as popular before. Now, the final Trailblazer is a scent that was released a few years after Aventus and probably is the one that you guys will resonate with the most, and that is MFK's Baccarat Rouge 540. So Baccarat Rouge 540, similarly to Angel by Mugler, was so iconic that it kind of sort of made its own category, its own space within the perfume community. And this scent helped to really bridge niche fragrance into popular culture, which had been attempted with Aventus, but this really blew up. All across all categories, no matter what industry, what hobbies you had, you knew about Baccarat Rouge 540. It wasn't just people who were into fragrances and knew about fragrances and beauty that knew about it. People across all industries, all walks of life knew about this scent. It was released in 2015, but I believe it reached its peak popularity around 2019, 2020. It was everywhere. It all over social media, influencers, bloggers, regular everyday people were just talking about its fragrance non-stop. Another aspect about Baccarat that made it a trailblazer is that it really pushed forward that unisex, genderless perfume that a lot of brands are now focusing upon. Up until recently, even now, a lot of brands are very masculine, feminine fragrances. Baccarat Rouge really pushed that boundary. It really kind of just formulated both masculine and feminine together. Some people, if you ask them, will say that Baccarat Rouge is a feminine scent, but there are so many guys who are obsessed with this scent. I personally am obsessed with the extrait, the almond heavy version. So iconic. And the notes in it, saffron, I believe that Baccarat Rouge made saffron popular within the Western market, because saffron was traditionally only used within the Eastern market, Arab perfumes and so on. I believe that Baccarat Rouge is what made saffron popular within the Western market. And also, obviously, its social media fame, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, We are coming onto the 10-year anniversary of Baccarat Rouge being released, and it's still the bestseller by Maison Kurkdjian and the most trending perfume. People just don't stop talking about it. People wear it on their wedding day. It's so iconic that people want it as the perfume that they will remember for the rest of their life, to remind them of good memories like when they were getting married. And obviously, because of its status, so many other brands did formulate their own dupes of it. The most famous one is Red Temptation by Zara. But, you can never beat the original. As with anything, time waits for nobody. So, what are the next potential wave of future trailblazers? I'm going to be talking about perfumes that I believe that if they continue on this trajectory of popularity and social media fame, that they will continue, and also just like the formulation and how they were made, they will potentially in the future, as time goes on, will reach trailblazer status, just as how Baccarat Rouge, Chanel number 5, Angel, and so on have reached. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk about that I believe may reach trailblazer status within the future if it continues on its trajectory is Amouage Guidance. The reason why I say Amouage Guidance is because I believe that this fragrance really helped to bring Middle Eastern brands and Middle Eastern focused fragrances to the mainstream. As you can see, since Amouage Guidance was released in 2023, all over social media, everybody talks about its Arab fragrances, because I believe Amouage Guidance is what brought this to the forefront. Not only that, Amouage was very strategic in using an iconic and up-and-coming perfumer, Quentin Beach, to formulate this fragrance. This fragrance is something that I've never seen done before. Even the Guidance 46 is great, but the original is just phenomenal. It's so creamy, it's almond, it's pearish. It's just, I don't think I've smelled anything like it before. It's so iconic. Its DNA is very unique to the Western market. You may see similar within the Eastern market, but in the Western market, the DNA of Amouage Guidance is very incredibly unique. The next fragrance that I believe will potentially reach trailblazer status, and in my opinion already has in the short years since it's been released, is Hibiscus Mahajad by Maison Crivelli. This was released in 2021, but I believe it's already reached trailblazer status. This is a cult favorite. Like, people are obsessed with it. Even people who, for example, I've seen on social media, who only buy dupes and low-end fragrances, still will purchase Hibiscus Mahajad, the original, because nothing compares to it. I personally am not a big fan of it. I used to like it. I've fallen out of love with it. But I just think it's just so iconic. The longevity, the projection is crazy. People who have no idea about perfume or the industry know about this scent and love it. I think it's going to reach trailblazer status within the next few years. And also, it's done bring a kind of note that was kind of forgotten and not really looked at to the forefront, and that is hibiscus. Hibiscus is not something that's really popular within perfumery before Hibiscus Mahajad was released, but now it's been non-stop. Now, the next scent that I believe is probably has reached trailblazer status already is coming on 10 years since it's released soon, and that is Parfum de Marly Delina. To me, Delina Exclusive is the most iconic, but the Delina range we can talk about. I believe that it's going to reach trailblazer status. People who have no idea about perfumery, people who don't even own that many perfumes, when they want a perfume, they want Delina. I've seen brides say that they want to wear Delina on their wedding day. That's how iconic Delina is. And not only that, the iconic bottle is one of the most feminine looking, pretty Barbie girl kind of bottles I've seen, which a lot of women like. It's attractive. It looks good on your dressing table and so on. So I believe that Delina is going to reach trailblazer status soon. It's really the epitome of feminine florals. It also when Quentin Beach was formulating this, the fact that he included heavier notes such as incense in that shows that he's really trying to push the boundaries of what traditional feminine fragrances are. And I think it just really redefined the new era of luxe femininity. So many other brands are now doing high-end, super feminine fragrances that are being emulated off of Delina. Another fragrance that I would say potentially has the potential to reach trailblazer status is none other than Kayali's Vanilla 28. This is quite a recent release, was released in 2018, and it was a social media craze when it was released. I think that's what really helped Kayali as the brand really come to the forefront. And not only that, her association with another social media built brand, Huda Beauty. This fragrance is really great it was kind of marketed as a layering fragrance, which hasn't really been done before. And I just think that its use of social media has really helped bring the brand to the forefront. And it kind of really honed on that influencer branding and marketing that so many brands do now. Kayali was one of the first brands to do that within the luxury perfume industry and has made luxury perfume more accessible to the masses. Another perfume that I believe has the potential to reach trailblazer status is the Labo's Another 13, released in 2010. This is a true skin scent to me. It's phenomenal on its own, but it's even more of a catalyst when it's layered with other scents. Like, it's just amazing. It's a true skin scent. I believe this is what brought skin scent to become popular. Another skin scent is Glossier You, that's really reached cult status. And it really kind of helped to bring that clean girl aesthetic, skin scent kind of vibe to the forefront that we are really appreciating now, somewhat 15 years later since the release of Another 13. Another perfume that I would say is basically trailblazer status is Byredo's Gypsy Water. The clean girlies are obsessed with it. The boho cheeks, the bohemian girls are obsessed with this scent. People who have no idea about perfume talk about this scent and they have it in their collection. It was released in the year 2008 and I think it really helped to bring forward the minimal aesthetic that a lot of perfumes are trying to emulate now. It can be worn anywhere. It's very recognizable. It's a real staple that is great within your fragrance collection. And I just think it's kind of been emulated by other brands and it's reached icon status everywhere. In fact, Gypsy Water is a lot of people's introduction to the brand Byredo. When you say Byredo, that's the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people. Now, I want to quickly focus on the legacy spotlight. I don't think we talk about how important Thierry Mugler's Angel is within the fragrance industry. Angel was a scent bomb, chocolate, caramel, cotton candy, and patchouli. Can you imagine the amount of time, effort, technology it would have taken to formulate this scent in the early 90s? 30 years ago, it invented the gourmand category. There's no other two ways about it. From the sculptural star bottle to the bold branding to the celebrity endorsements, it was theatrical, it was extra, it was camp. It really embodied Thierry Mugler as a designer. And it was almost impossible to ignore. Like when you see that star bottle, you know what's coming from it. It really opened the floodgates for bold, edible perfumes and left a legacy that still echoes through a lot of sweet scents today. some perfumes you compare to Angel because that Angel is the standard, is the criteria, and then you compare other perfumes to that criteria. I've met people who say the only perfume that they wear is Angel. That's all they get. My dad still to this day, when he buys a perfume for my mom, it's Angel. That's what she wears. She's obsessed. So perfume isn't just about smell. It's about identity, culture, and memory. From Chanel to Maison Kurkdjian, from Angel to Guidance, these scents have all changed the way we wear, feel, and express through perfume. What is your trailblazer? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching. Mwah. Bisous.